Hi, my name is Corey Gutierrez, and today we're going to talk about the ethics of artificial intelligence. So, what we're going to talk about is exactly what is artificial intelligence, current research being conducted and where we hope it will go, laws governing artificial intelligence, moral and ethical issues with machine learning, and interpreting artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence, what exactly is it? It's basically the capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. So with that comes with all the minute tasks that humans take for granted. So basically, like our ability to learn, our ability to apply that knowledge that we learn. So basically, our reasoning skills, our ability to perceive and think through our surroundings. So what does that all mean? So with any computer, you have to remember that they're not smart at all. They have to be told exactly step by step what to do. And that's something that's completely different from humans. Humans are able to be presented with a task and then find a solution to that. And that's what we strive to get towards in artificial intelligence. We want to get to where an artificial being can be presented with that task that they have no prior knowledge of and then figure out a solution to it, just as humans would. So with that comes with two different types of artificial intelligence. And the first one is weak artificial intelligence, and that's designed to perform a specific task. So an example of that would be Siri, Cortana, or Alexa, which are the virtual assistants on an iPhone, Windows, or Amazon products. And those are specifically designed to be your virtual assistant. That's all they're designed to do. Just as with a self-driving car, it's only designed to be a self-driving car. It can't do anything else. However, with strong artificial intelligence, that's designed to find a solution to an unfamiliar situation. So, for example, with like I mentioned earlier, with humans, we go throughout daily life with all these unfamiliar situations. We're presented with unfamiliar situations every single day, and we find out solutions to get past those situations. We find solutions to them, and that's what we want to get to with artificial intelligence. So, with strong AI, there aren't really that many good examples in progress right now because right now we only have weak AI. We don't really have strong AI. That's what we're striving to get towards. So basically, to sum up strong AI, you could give an example of a virtual maze. So basically, you would want the artificial intelligence to figure out how to get to the end of that maze. So like with a human, what we would do is we would figure out how to get through that maze through trial and error. We would enter the maze, decide on our specified path, then go through that path. If we don't get to the end right away, we backtrack until we figure out how to get to the end of the maze. That's what we want the artificial intelligence to do. We want it to figure out somehow to get through that maze through trial and error. So, what research is being conducted on artificial intelligence? So, the big research that's being conducted right now is reinforcement learning, and that's the ability of a machine to learn from its past experiences. And that's the big goal in artificial intelligence. Like I mentioned before, we want our computers to be able to learn and figure out situations by themselves without any prior knowledge. And one of the big ways for them to be able to do that is to learn off of their past experiences and then build off of those experiences until they figure out a solution to them. And then a second big area of research is language processing and learning. And that's the ability for a machine to perceive and understand language. And with that, understanding language comes with building off of reinforcement learning. So once they're able to understand and perceive language, they're able to build off of that knowledge that they're learning, and then in and then they're able to actually and then the artificial intelligence is actually able to figure out solutions to situations that they're presented with without any prior knowledge. So, what are some laws governing artificial intelligence? So, basically, there aren't any current laws that are governing artificial intelligence because it's such a new thing that's out there. So, basically, current law guiding software and robotics states that liability is only issued when a developer knew about possible harm and did not do anything to prevent it. So, what exactly does that mean? So, basically, for example, think about how a developer would be developing a piece of software in the testing stage, and then they discover that there's something wrong with that software that could be potentially harmful to an individual if they put it out into the marketplace. And say if they completely ignore this issue and then put it out into the marketplace anyway, and then someone gets hurt. So the developer had prior knowledge of this. So obviously they're going to be liable for the harm put upon that person. So the issue with this, though, is that in artificial intelligence, there is no perceived harm that's already there because the artificial intelligence is the one making the decisions. It's not the developer. The artificial intelligence is the one that's figuring out and going through the situation. And if the artificial intelligence were to harm someone or harm a system, who's going to be held liable for that? So that's the main issue. And in modern tort law, there really isn't any situation governing artificial intelligence. So exactly, we're going to figure out who exactly is going to be held liable for all these situations if harm were to be brought upon by an artificial intelligence. So with that brings a lot of moral and ethical issues. So with the artificial intelligence being created, can we guarantee that with all users that with them using this artificial intelligence, are they safe? Will they not be hurt by it? So with that comes in the trust in the artificial intelligence system. So the trust in the decisions that are being made by that system, and then if these decisions are being used appropriately. So, for example, think about the healthcare industry. What if an artificial intelligence got developed for that, where it could self-diagnose patients for their illnesses? So you have to have trust in these decisions that the system is making. Will these decisions be correct? Will they be up to par of that of a human? Will If they are wrong, will they cause potential harm? And if they do cause harm, who's going to be held liable? These are all the situations that we need to think through in order to figure out exactly what we need to do when developing artificial intelligence. And with that comes a big one that's going to be happening in the next 2 years, which is in the automotive industry with self-driving cars. What if the self-driving car gets in a crash? Who's going to be held liable? It can't be the person who's in the car because they're not the one driving it. It's the artificial intelligence which is making all the decisions. And just as with a human, there are going to be those situations where a crash is completely unavoidable. And so we're going to have to think about all these situations where a artificial intelligence is going to be put in the in situations where harm will occur. So guidelines and specific laws are going to have to be put in place in order to determine who is liable for these faults. So, artificial intelligence interpretation. So, you have to remember that systems with artificial intelligence are not conscious like humans. The decisions they make are solely off of automatic reasoning. So, that brings us back to who's going to be liable for the things they do. So automatic reasoning, what exactly does that mean? Automatic reasoning is basically determining how a computer would think through a situation logically, just as a human would. So you have to remember that computers do not have the same emotions as humans do. So without those emotions, which humans base a lot of those decisions off of, we're going to have to figure out if a piece of software can make logical decisions just as a human would when they don't have all the same parameters that we would think about. So what if a conscious artificial intelligence was developed, though? Who would be liable for the decisions it makes? And then can it truly mimic a human brain and make logical decisions? And if it were to do that, is there a possibility that it could surpass that of human intelligence? And then with that comes with the fear of creating something potentially harmful. So what exactly do I mean by that? So computers can think 10 times faster than that of the human brain. So if we develop a artificial intelligence that has the same conscious capabilities of that of a human, then isn't there the possibility that it can surpass that of human intelligence? And basically, with that, will it be able to take over and basically reprogram itself to be that of a sentient being? And that's one of the biggest issues in artificial intelligence that we need to figure out. And there are many proponents that say that artificial intelligence needs to be thought about way more before we actually develop it. I mean, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, are just some of the big names that think that artificial intelligence may not be that beneficial to that of humankind if it surpasses that of our own human intelligence and has the capabilities of taking over. So we just need to think about all the laws and all the ethical guidelines and all the moral situations that we need to put into this artificial intelligence to make it think that like a human, so it can think logically through situations and not try to take over. So in conclusion, more research needs to be conducted in order to determine what artificial intelligence is capable of. And with that, laws need to be developed beforehand so developers have guidelines to follow. And then once laws are in place, we need to develop artificial intelligence so it conforms to some sort of ethical and moral guidelines, just as humans do, so that it can make logical and ethical decisions.